Are the defending champs, but are they clearly better than the Rockets?
I don't know if they're clearly better, but I think, like, as he said before, with their experience, having played in multiple championships, having been there before, I think it allows them to execute a little bit better down the stretch. It allows them to be a little bit more comfortable in this setting because they've been there over and over and over again. And although it could have rubbed some people the wrong way, what he's saying is fact. It's factual. They have rings. They've been there before. They don't fear anyone because of the fact that they have 4 All-Stars. And they're all proven.
I know you realize you have a high basketball IQ. One thing I don't think you realize is, because you're early in this, trying out broadcasting, I don't think you realize the influence that you have on what you say.
Oh, here we go.
You visit our show. You and I didn't know each other, and I started hearing you talk about Golden State and just how tough they are to match up with. And, man, we've been banging Houston all season as they were going to be the best team in the NBA. But you've swayed me in a short period of time to get back to, wow, man, Golden State is hard to stop. Man, your opinion on basketball, it's affected me, and it's made me look at, is this Houston team, is it really that good? What am I missing?
Or even, hold on, are you doubting if Houston's that good, or do you think you had been underrating how good Golden State is?
That's a good question.
I think I know how good Golden State was. I appreciate Kevin Durant. I understand why he came to the team. But I'm still questioning, is this the team that's going to beat them? And I just believe that James Harden, is he going to be that MVP in the series? And those are things that I'm more concerned about after hearing him talk than I was before.
No, it's no disrespect to the Houston Rockets. They're a very, very good team. They execute well. They spread the floor. They've kind of revolutionized the game of basketball. But that doesn't change the fact that this is going to be a game where matchups are exploited, and both teams have the ability to switch all ball screens. But as I said before, in the playoffs, it comes down to being able to execute, being able to score easy baskets. I think the Rockets can score easy baskets. However, playing so much one-on-one is great. We did it. We've done it. There's a lot of teams that have played one-on-one and had success, but the easier baskets you can score, whether that be off catch and shoot opportunities, which Clay seems to get a lot of them. The Warriors are one of the few teams that have some of the best shooters to ever play the game and still lead the NBA in wide-open shots every season.
So what do you think about, and this will lead to something, but about staggering stars? I apologize for not knowing this. Do you and Dame, if it's a contested game, forget garbage time, are one of the two of you on the court the whole game?
Yeah, that's been the plan, the entire season. I mean, since I've been in the rotation 3 years ago, Coach has done it that way. I've been the backup point guard when he's out of the game, and then he comes back in, and I'm still the primary ball handler until he gets loose.
So you have 48 minutes a night, barring garbage time, where one of your 2 stars is out there. Houston also does that. They won't play a minute this whole series where both CP3 and Harden are on the bench, barring supreme foul trouble or injury. Golden State doesn't do that. Golden State will take KD and Steph and Draymond out of the game to start second quarters, to where Clay is the one guy out there. What do you think of not playing 48 minutes with either KD or Steph on the court? Because I think Kerr's great. I think this is a mistake he has made for the last 2 years, where he has not played 48 minutes of KD and Steph.
I think he'll make adjustments based on how the series goes, but a lot of times they do that to allow Clay to get going. He becomes the focal point of the offense. He's able to get more shots. They're kind of running through him. Although they share the ball as equal opportunity, they're more so looking for Clay. When he's in the first quarter, besides that last game where he's able to get 22 or 23 shots, KD can create a shot whenever he feels like it. They run a lot of offense through him in isolation situations. Steph can create a shot whenever he feels like it. So sometimes he may not get the touches to gain that rhythm. So that second quarter, he's able to get going.
You think a huge part of the game plan is going to be to attack Chris Paul and James Harden on the defensive side? You believe they are going to exploit. You believe that they think that they're not good defenders, and they're going to take advantage of them in this series. Golden State.
More so James Harden. They're definitely going to attack him because he's so good offensively. You have to figure out ways to wear him out, and he doesn't have the best reputation when it comes to defense, although he's improved, and the numbers show that the Rockets have been pretty good with him on the floor. And I think it's not just him. You exploit mismatches in a series. You go back to the 16 championship with Kyrie Irving. What did he do? He tried to attack Steph as much as possible. What did LeBron do? Every time he had a chance to get Steph in a pick and roll, they did. So it'll be a game of chess. And CP will be trying to get Steph Curry in pick and rolls, and they'll be trying to exploit James in as many matchups as possible.
CJ, how important is Game 1 for the Rockets to pick up that first win?
I think it sets the tone, not more so for themselves, mentally understanding that we beat them in the regular season, and there was rumors that the Warriors were coasting. And there comes a time where you get so good you become lackadaisical in the regular season because you know what you're capable of doing in the finals and in the Western Conference Finals. So I think it's more so for them to see, like, all right, we're as real as we thought we were.
Well, I think, listen, I picked the Rockets in 7. You, with all respect, have not swayed me off my pick. However, if they don't win Game 1, I'm going to feel terrible about it. Because I feel like there will be a level of mental letdown that you work all season for home court. You weren't coasting in the regular season. You had locked up the 1 seed, by the way, with a week left, and you were still playing your starters 35-plus minutes. They weren't taking guys out. They were going for it, right?
You told us you're consumed with Golden State.
Right. Daryl Morey said it. We are obsessed with beating Golden State. And if you go through 5 months of work to get to this moment and you lose it in a 2-hour and 20-minute basketball game, I feel like that can be so deflating for them, right? Like, I mean, it's to a different degree to what you guys dealt with in the very close Game 1 loss. You guys worked all year to get that 3 seed, and then all of a sudden home court's taken away from you in an evening. Like,
right.
It has to wear on you mentally.
It definitely wears on you mentally. You start to think, all right, we have to win this next game. And I think Draymond has the right approach. They've been here before, although this is the first time they played on the road in a little while to open up a series. He's thinking we just need to get one. If we get the first one, great. Then we go back to the Oracle, and we know what usually happens there. They've won 14 or 15 in a row at home. So I think the pressure will be on them in Game 1, and it's really just about how they execute because it's going to be a close game. Both teams are going to go on runs. Obviously, the Warriors like the third quarter as their time to go on the biggest run, and it's just about who can exploit what mismatches down the stretch.
CJ, as broadcasters, we use this word experience. We try to match up teams based on which one is more experienced. We did it in the East with the Sixers. We're doing it out here between the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. As a player, does that ever factor in with you? You ever go into a matchup and say, well, these guys have been there before and done that. They're probably going to know, what they're doing and how they're doing it, and they're going to know what to do in certain situations better than we do? Like, is that something the Rockets could be factoring in at all?
I don't necessarily think so because they got a lot of guys who've been in the league for a long time. Trevor Ariza has played on championship caliber teams. CP, although he hasn't been into the Western Conference Finals before, he's played on a lot of great teams. He's smart. He understands the game. He understands the magnitude of the game. I think sometimes when you have young teams, they don't understand the moment until it's past. Like the 76ers, I think they were just hooping. They weren't really worried about the fact that they had a chance to potentially do some things that hadn't been done before. They just got out there playing. And in this case, you got MVP caliber players on both sides, and it's really just going to come down to execution and familiarity with each other and where people are going to be at.
You said MVP caliber players. I want to talk about the guy that's going to win MVP this year, James Harden. You can argue that he should have won the MVP 3 years ago. A lot of people thought he should have won the MVP last year. He's going to win it this year. His regular season over the last 4 years is unimpeachable. He's been as good as any player in the league in the regular season. I don't know if it's fair. I feel like this series is going to be something of a referendum on him. If he, tell me where you stand on that. If he doesn't play well in this series, I think people are going to throw out everything that's on the regular season and say, see, it's the herky-jerky, it's the trick in the refs. That doesn't work in the postseason. I don't know if that's fair or not, but I feel like that's what he's got on the line in this postseason.
I think you're always judged on your performance in the playoffs, and obviously people will remember how he played against the Spurs in that elimination game in which I don't think Kawhi Leonard was even playing.
No, he wasn't.
So that hurts him a little bit, but he's played so well in the regular season, and he's had flashes of brilliance in the playoffs to where I think he's gonna play well. It's just going to be about the matchups and one team being better than the other, which in this case I think is the Warriors.
Yeah, I think James Harden is looking forward to the challenge. All great players, they want to be at a bigger stage, and they want to be able to face the thing that people said they couldn't do. It will be a referendum on him in the playoffs because that's the way you judge great players. It won't be just on the regular season. Be no different than Peyton Manning. Brilliant numbers during the regular season, not as good in the postseason, and that's the forget about being fair. If we're going to judge great players, you have to judge them in the most critical times, and nothing's more critical than the playoffs.
All right, CJ, stick around. We're going to come back. Tell us what the Celtics can do to slow down LeBron and the Cavs. That's next on First Things First.